The following entertainment banter you're about to listen to may contain potty language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome back to another episode of Entertainment Banter. Yeah, I shouldn't sing. My name is Joel.
And I'm Matt.
And we're here to bring you another exciting episode of us bantering about something.
Yeah, we always banter about something. Today, I think we should be talking about... obviously, we talked a lot about Captain Marvel in the last couple of podcasts. They're so closely related.
Since when do we not talk about Marvel, but okay.
Right, we always talk about Marvel.
That's what we do here.
But I think... for this round, I think it'd be kind of fun to talk about because in just a short couple of weeks, we're going to see Avengers Endgame. Endgame. So I thought it would be fun to talk about what we think is going to happen in Avengers Endgame. Because we've been watching these about 20 movies now, over 10 years. So I want your predictions. We're calling it out before any trailers give anything away. We obviously know, Tony Stark gets back because he's walking with everybody in those white suits. But I wanted your take on it. I wanted to know what you think is going to go down. We're going to lay out our predictions. Who's going to live? Who's going to die? Are they going to defeat Thanos? Are they going to introduce Galactus? I mean, what do you think is going to happen?
So it's a loaded question because there are comics already out that the storyline they're following, but at the same time they have strayed from that path, but they have stayed true to every path they've taken. Does that make sense?
It does.
So, Thanos and the whole Infinity War doesn't take place. That takes place years before Civil War. But we did the Civil War thing before we got Infinity War. So, it's a lot of... They stayed true to a lot of it and kept to why things happen. Yeah, the actions and when fights, Civil War included so many more people and all that. But... before I answer any questions of Endgame, of the predictions, let's talk about Thanos. Can we talk about Thanos?
Yes, of course.
So Thanos is a character that wants to bring peace to the universe, right?
Right.
And this is what we're being fed through the movies as to what his motivation is to do that, right? He wants to bring peace. So it almost gives him a little humanity, right? It's like he's not a bad guy. He's just trying to kill half the universe. To bring peace because he's realizing that the farm can't feed the universe anymore. Wasn't that his theory?
That was his excuse,
his analogy?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So he'd kill half the people so that way it solves the problems. Now, I used to make jokes about that all the time here. You fix the world hunger, make world peace, and, you fix disease. Genocide. The answer, right? That's an answer no one wants to hear, but it's an answer, right? It's an answer, and would it work? Absolutely. Is it the right answer? No. Some people in history have already tried that. So anyway, but in the comics, Thanos's,
My question was, what was your prediction of what's going to happen in this movie, Endgame?
Thanos, but
didn't you say
Thanos' original motivations in the comics
was a female, right?
Is for a female's attention, and that female was death. Now, they have not introduced death to the movies. So they have to leave that out. Now, death is a huge part of it, and he's just trying to impress her. He wants to take her hand, which she's not interested in, and then when he kills half the universe, she's kind of interested, oh, look at that. So, his motivation was, I'm going to kill half these people so I can get laid. That's kind of like his motivation. I mean, men are pigs. But then you also got to remember that Deadpool snags death from Thanos and marries death. Deadpool does.
This is crazy thinking.
This is the comics. This is the comics.
This doesn't. So
to stop
I'm not
Thanos,
familiar.
He does succeed in the comics, killing half the universe. Now they brought Captain Marvel in because she's a huge part in retrieving that gauntlet. Obviously, they do retrieve the gauntlet, and they do fix the issue. Now
with the gauntlet,
there is at one point. I do not think because in the comics. They do not kill Thanos. Thanos works on their side at some point. Thanos actually works alongside the Avengers at some point.
Really?
Yes. I can't remember who they go against, but Nebula is not a good guy, nor is she the villain. She's just out to get Thanos because she's done. She's out for revenge.
Right.
So I think in the comics, I can't remember if Nebula gets the gauntlet and she goes crazy with it, and then Thanos helps them get it back. But of course, Thanos wants it again and all that, blah blah blah. But he does fight alongside the Avengers at some point in the comics. Like he's an
against
ongoing
Nebula
character, so I do not think he is going to disappear after this movie. But also in this,
good lord, all right.
So my prediction would be Thanos does not die. Captain America will perish. He will die, and Iron Man, I think, will get badly wounded to a point where he cannot proceed, or he will die as well.
Interesting.
And Thor died. Thor should have been dead a long time ago, because during Civil War, when Thor was brought up, he was cloned. He's a clone of Thor. So the comics are weird.
Yeah, I'm kind of regretting asking this question because I don't see how they could possibly incorporate all that. So
They're not going to?
So we got to figure out how Hollywood's going to take that and convert it into their own. So the Nebula thing's interesting because I don't know the story of Thanos. I've never really read those comics. I have no idea what the comics are about.
I'm more a Spider-Man fan. He
should
die. Tom Holland,
okay.
Though, but that'll be a different movie.
So basically, I can see Nebula in this movie then, after what you just told me, trying to get the gauntlet, getting the gauntlet, and acting a little cuckoo.
And she's gonna work alongside the Avengers with that, of course. It's a common goal.
Right. Look, if all three of their contracts are up, doesn't mean they can't be renewed. I think, I'll be honest with you, Iron Man has been such an intricate role in the cinematic universe. Personally, especially financially speaking, for a company standpoint, meaning Marvel/Disney, it would be in their best interest to not kill him.
Well, that's why I think they won't kill him. They'll maim him to the point where he'll still be involved, but he will not be in
right. He'll be like Nick Fury is in a lot of them, where he just pops up every once in a while.
Right.
Yeah, if he wants to do that. I can see Captain America going, but everybody's expecting that. I think Thor would live. I think Thor would stick around, maybe. I don't think they'd kill him off. There's really no point to doing that. It's tough, yeah. I mean, to me, like, I can tell you this. No matter how you slice it, I feel like this will be an end of an era. Like, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in my opinion, probably will never be the same again. Like,
that's the point.
If you know what I mean. But my point is too, though, like, it's a cutoff. It's a cutoff point. Like, people, this would be the time that people could jump ship. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to be as invested in the Marvel movies after this one because the characters I grew up and loved are no longer really involved. I'll still maybe go see one or two, but it won't be the same.
And that's just like how the comics are. You stayed with like the Amazing Spider-Man or the Uncanny X-Men, and you stayed with it until that story arc ended, and you're just like, all right, it's still going, but I'm gonna pass on the next new ones. And that's like the whole, like, comics are always reinventing. So I can see them moving forward with this and then reinventing characters again. Kind of thing, just like how the comics did, and they absolutely have the right. They could stop it here and reboot it all again and call it something different and call it like the Amazing Marvel series, and they can rename it like they always effing do in all the comics. And you know what? I don't know if Marvel fans, the MCU fans would like that, but the comics fans would be like, "Well, this is normal shit."
It would be, but I think it would be. Based on Disney, I think it'd be completely not in their best interest if they did that.
Well, the only reason why they would do that is so they can start incorporating everything.
Yep, no, I get it, but that's a good question or a good point, but I feel like they're in too deep, and I feel like because Disney's already getting such a bad rap with everything else that they've taken over and changed things, other genres, let's just say, I feel like if they were to do that, Disney would get blamed for just corrupting every franchise. Does that make sense?
But so Yeah, that totally makes sense. So then I have a question. So if Thanos is this is the big villain, this is the one that I've been leading up to. This is 20 movies in the making, right? This is going to be the movie of the year. Blah blah blah.
Right.
After this, who's the next villain? Dormammu was a big villain, but they dealt with that with Doctor Strange. So would it be Galactus?
I would, yeah. I don't think they would kill Thanos. I don't think he'd be a hero. I think what they would do is what they did in the first Captain America, where, they'll find some way to get rid of him without knowing for sure what happened to him, or
right,
we
so
do, or we
back, like Red
bring
Skull.
him back, right? Or like the Bifrost thing. That's I knew when I saw Captain America that Red Skull didn't die. It was more about him just being transported. So I feel like the same thing. They could maybe, because with the Infinity Gauntlet, it could be like a Ray Stantz from Ghostbusters. Like just think of what the Destroyer looks like. And whoever's got the gauntlet, they'll just think of a place to send him, and no one will really know what that place is. Does that, you know what I mean? Except the person that does it. So we just don't know what happens. I feel like he's just going to get wished away. He's not going to. He's not going to die. To answer your question, I think anything like Galactus, Fantastic Four, anything that you can start introducing Reed Richards into the story arc, I think they'll start introducing Fantastic Four before X-Men. I think that would be a smart twist into it.
It's easier. It could be something like there's a blip on the radar, and Reed Richards is working with Tony
especially
Stark.
With Ant-Man.
Reed Richards can contact Ant-Man, or you can contact Tony Stark. It could be a couple things. You know what I mean? Like they can totally breach that in there.
Right. So what do you think? Let's get back to the other characters. We talked about the major three, but let's talk about, for example, Black Widow. What do you think is going to happen with Black Widow?
I don't care about her character.
Wow, really?
Really? It's just a throwaway character. She and Hawkeye were just
really.
In the comics, Hawkeye had a bigger presence, but in the movies, it's not that big of a deal.
Well, I think it's pretty clear. Just based on the trailers, he's lost his family. He looks like a man that's lost everything. So, in my opinion, I think he's going to have probably some of the biggest stakes in this movie. I'm looking forward to seeing him the most. He looks like the one that has lost the most. Iron Man didn't lose anybody. He lost Peter Parker, but he didn't lose his woman.
What do you
Thor.
think? Yeah,
Thor doesn't really care. He's already lost everybody, and you got
Ant-Man lost everybody too.
He did, but I don't know about his daughter. But he lost his immediate circle of friends, so to speak. But and Captain America, he lost his woman, a while ago. So the only person that currently lost something in the moment very valuable was Hawkeye. I think that's very. I'm looking forward to that the most.
From the trailer, it looks like he's in the dark because he kind of left. Remember he left. He retired in a sense to go back to the.
Yes.
It doesn't look like when in the movie Black Widow finds him. He has a samurai sword or whatever. He looks like he's in Japan.
Yes.
It seems like he's looking for answers because he doesn't. I don't think he got all the insight when it all happened. He probably didn't know about Thanos. Like, why would he know anything about that? He's no longer in that loop. So now it looks like he's looking for answers, and he can't find them, and that's when Black Widow finds him.
That he's just
what it looks like, or he's pissed.
I think he's just so lost in his anguish that it's almost like a Batman with no morals. It almost looks like he's lost everything, so he doesn't care what happens to himself. So he's willing to go places and do things that normally maybe he wouldn't be willing to do.
Go the distance.
Meaning while his family was still around. Now he's maybe looking for an excuse to die. You know what I mean? Like while and he's going back to the only thing he knows, which is stopping crime, whatever you want to call it.
Crime.
I'm really, like I said, I'm really looking forward to seeing Hawkeye. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. So
I was just scratching.
Yes. So, all right. So, Hawkeye, Black Widow. Do you think, getting back to let's just say that the Avengers get the gauntlet back and they make their wishes or their thought process to bring people back. Whatever, whoever grabs this thing is going to.
Who do you think's going to have it? That's the question. Like, who do you think's going to have it in their hand? I think Nebula's going to get it.
No, I think at the end of the day, it's going to be Tony Stark. It started with Iron Man. It's probably going to end with Iron Man. I've said that since day one. I think Iron Man's going to be the one that does the final.
Hey, the whole
redemption.
Nebula storyline with Thanos and all that could be a whole other arc that they're going to explore later, because it totally could be them getting the gauntlet back. Tony Stark talks about how we got to hide it and put it somewhere that no one can get to it. Maybe they split up the stones again, and Nebula tries to pay attention, and then she's
Well, I think the Nebula thing is a great, because remember, it's Hollywood, and so just like you said with Civil War, the only reason we got Civil War was they said if we were ever going to do it, now would be the time. It wasn't something that was initially a part of their whole cinematic universe per se. Their excuse for Civil War was to tear the team apart, just as the big guy was coming, the big trouble was coming.
They wanted to split them apart and also introduce a couple more characters that they could.
Right. So my thought is, because for the sake of time, because even if the movie's 2.5 hours,
it's 3 hours and 1 minute.
Well, there you go, 3 hours and 1 minute. So
or 2 minutes.
Even with a movie that long, you figure halfway through, that's when Nebula is gonna. Just when things are starting to turn around for the Avengers, that's when they'll throw that monkey wrench in. Nebula will do something to jeopardize it, and then it'll become more dramatic, but they will recover it and fix it all in the same movie, I think.
What I want to point out is it's a 3-hour-long movie with no introductions of characters or plot development. We know what the plot is.
It's going to be amazing.
That's the crazy when they said thing. A lot of movies take 2.5 hours to explain the characters that come in, give them some depth, explain some background, give them so you feel for them, create the plot, create this whole story arc, right? All that shit's been done. Now you're just jumping into a movie that, here we go, we're jumping in. Like, that was almost like the Infinity War first movie, even the first Avengers movie. We already knew the characters. We don't need an introduction who they are anymore. We may go back and hear some backstory on them a little bit more, but we're not going to be like,
or what they were doing,
Tony Stark, or this is
why we didn't see them.
Yeah, they may explain things like that, but this is a movie like anything else. There's nothing they have to explain really, other than we need to progress forward.
They've made it very clear that this is going to be the most epic movie that they've done.
I'm sure it has one of the biggest budgets too.
One of the things that we talked about we didn't see in the last Avengers movie, but we were speculating a while back, was the use of all of these other civilizations and armies, so to speak. They never came to fruition. Like, remember, we thought the Ravagers might come. We thought that maybe the Thor people might come. The Thor people got their butts kicked.
Those are the Asgardians. But anyways, did you ever watch... did you rewatch the pods?
Listen to the pods? No, but I just remember it because I was so surprised that
was months.
Well, now that because ago. Thanos did he didn't obviously do this to Earth. He did it to every civilization. So that's why I'm saying, like, I feel like if it's the end all be all, like if they're going out with a huge bang, so to speak, I'm wondering if the rest of the universe missing half its people, if they're going to finally pull them together and try to all go at Thanos, or do you think they're just going to focus on the final 7 or 6 characters that we've always come to know and love?
I don't know. Can I just say too that Captain America in the trailer, he says something like, people are going to be, people are done or whatever. Like people should just let this be, but not us. We don't let things be. It's like, I feel like that's like a statement from high school. Like your principal's telling, like, hey, let it go, and then he's going, but I'm not going to let it go.
Right. I thought that was like a Frozen really funny reference.
It was a cool line. Like it works for the movie, but it just made me feel like nobody else cares about us, kind of thing.
Well,
but of course,
it's tough.
Cares.
It's tough because I will say this about the trailers: the trailers don't give you a damn thing. They only tell you what you already knew or what you would expect. They don't have to explain anything.
There's going to be action shots of what this.
I know, but that's the point I'm making. Is the only thing cool about the trailer was that it confirmed that Iron Man's going to survive, which everyone knew. And it confirms that Hawkeye would be back in it, because after, you never know if an actor wants to be written out or they just get tired of the character. So as always, I knew it would happen. A smart way to do it would be to do what they're doing, which is you start with those same characters, you end with those same characters. And to me, I think they're doing it right by honoring those characters. Because when I didn't see Hawkeye in the last Avengers movie, I thought for a second, I was like, oh man, that's kind of in bad taste, because like it started with all of them. But to see him back, it makes his character even more powerful to me. Like I said, like to me, I think his stakes are the highest.
Well, everyone thought it was weird not to see Thor in Civil War.
Yes and no, but that was to be expected.
And they explained it because he was in that other world. Yeah, he was. They explained it
really
well.
Right, and on top of that, technically Civil War was a Captain America movie. It was called Captain America Civil War. So that would be like saying, well, I didn't see Captain America in Thor Ragnarok. It's like, well, obviously you didn't because it's a Thor movie.
Thor doesn't deal with their bullshit. He don't give a shit.
Yeah, so 3 hours and 1 minute.
2 minutes.
It's going to be 2 minutes?
I'm going to keep adding
You're going to keep adding minutes to it. Well, it's going to be bittersweet. I'm looking forward to it.
Post-credit scene. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, right. They're gonna give like a good rendition of what's to come. I don't know. I like the trailers because they don't give us anything other than, like I said. But
yeah, about Robert Downey.
But at the same time, it sucks because there's so much more. I feel like they're not going to show us anything until we get to the theater. I feel like at this point in time, it's too late.
Out.
Yeah, it's too late now.
We're so close to it. Like
this is like the first time.
On my phone. You know how close we are to it?
Yeah.
We're 20 days out.
Yeah, it's the first time in a long time where I have seen a marketing campaign. I guess it's what's amazing about the Marvel Cinematic Universe is they know everyone's going to go see it, so they don't have to make a trailer to entice you in the sense of like, you know what I mean?
Got you.
Yeah.
You started on first movie, they already have you. You already watched all these movies. You already know. Those are the trailers. You're already in.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like, the trailer has nothing. It gives you nothing. Like, you have no idea what's going to happen. You just know that they're going to try something.
It makes you feel good. You, like, watch it. And like, here we go.
Right. Well, the one thing, real quick, too, is Thanos says something in one of the trailers. And he said, I can't remember exactly what he says. What I'm going to do next, I'm looking forward to it, or something like that. Do you remember what he says?
In the Endgame trailer?
Yes. Or he says, I'm looking forward to what I'm going to do next, or something like that, or what I'm going to do next.
So it's all the same.
It just sounds interesting to me because, like, what else is he going to do? Because he already did what he said he was going to do.
Well, so in the comics, he retires to be a farmer, and he hangs, like in the trailer you see is
Well, he looked like he was in a farm.
Yeah, in the comics he does, and then he hangs up his armor as a scarecrow, and that's kind of looked like what he did. So, like,
that I think is in the trailer.
Yes, so it kind of looks like he's being Farmer Thanos, like he wants to. He wants to have peace, and he's doing his thing. Like I said, he's not in our version of Thanos, he's not a bad person. The comic version, he's just out for sex or women. Right. So, I mean, it's not always about sex.
Right.
But so Thanos, we're seeing a different side of Thanos, and I think we're gonna see a deeper version of him in this movie.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. Like it's hard to watch because you don't want to agree with him at all.
You can kind of agree with him too. You got to look at this side too. He doesn't think he's evil. Evil never thinks he's evil.
Yeah.
So it could easily be the right decision. He could easily be making a decision no one else can make, like he was saying. Like, he is being that call, but it should not be his decision, and that's where the Avengers stand.
Right.
You don't make that call. You're not a god.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting. Captain looks like Captain again, too. He's even got his helmet on. What do you think about that?
I think he realizes they fell apart. There is a part in the trailer where Tony looks at Captain and goes, says something like, like, we can't let differences put us aside anymore, and they shake hands. Right.
So, but what's interesting is they're showing up in their white suits, right? No one's suited up in their old school attire. But in that one scene, Captain is beat to hell.
I think these are way too different. I think we're seeing near the beginning of the movie, and then like there's parts where we're missing.
Okay, so maybe they're going to the quantum realm or something.
For all you know, Captain's already dead when they're wearing those white suits. You don't know. We don't. Well, but
he's wearing the white suit. He's not dead.
He's not. Is he? Was he wearing one of the white suits?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, but remember, it might be that Ant-Man thing where they go in the quantum realm and they might get those superpowers that Aunt Wasp's mother got. You know what I mean? Who knows? That might aid there. Yeah, when Wasp's mother, Michelle Pfeiffer's character, comes back, she's endowed with these kind of like special abilities and powers. Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah. So, and maybe that's why they're wearing those suits.
She didn't come back. I thought they were able to talk.
But they're also wearing the suits in the spaceship too. So I don't know. Like, the reason why I brought it up, I know we're running short of time, but it's interesting to me that Captain America's in his suit, because if you think about it, if they're messing with time and alteration of space time, whatever you want to call it, if they're in their trailers, they're always showing them in those white suits as a team. At some point in the heat of battle, he's obviously totally changed his outfit. And he's got his shield.
I'm more confused about Ant-Man and Wasp. Did she come back from the quantum realm? I thought she was just able to talk to him.
No. What, you talking about the mother?
Yeah.
No, the mother came back just fine. In fact, she came back with a little extra power from the quantum realm.
Are we going to see some Spider-Man? Oh, it's Cosmic Spider-Man, but anyways.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. But I think
we shall see.
Or do you think they'll do a happy ending for Cap where somehow he gets back to his own time? They don't kill him. They bring him back to his own time.
Shut the fuck.
To relive the life he could have had with What's-Her-Face.
They mess with the past or the future.
But then you could rewrite a whole new story arc.
They can start over.
And you get Wolverine in World War II.
Get that out of here. That'd be insane. They won't do that. There's no way.
No. They're too stupid to think about something like that, I'm sure.
That'd be cool. And then you have Wolverine,
like an alternate reality of some kind.
And they can start all over again.
They can start all over again.
And then, ooh.
Yep. All right. Well, on that note, thank you for listening to Entertainment Banter. My name is Matt.
Dare you? My name is Joel. And I am done. We can banter for hours. And you should listen for hours.